Fulvio is a founding partner and CDO at neXat, who is also a sponsor to our event. His question is how cloud-based OSS BSS can comply to the needs of secured satellite communication. Welcome, Fulvio. From a degree in electrical engineering at Napoli University and after completing an MBA, you became an innovation and development manager at SAIT Holland, a space project manager too, then the Secretary General at the European Satellite Operators Association ESOA, an external R&D director at Oracle, and a member of the Galileo Task Force. I will leave you the floor and let you settle in.
I have a very strong voice, but maybe not enough to reach people who are on top of this big room. Quite impressive. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So I was well introduced by our moderator. Thanks for that. So I am one of the co-founders and the Chief Technology Officer of neXat. So thank you for being here. I'm in between the lunch, just before the lunch, so I can understand. So thank you for your patience to listen to me, and let me congratulate the organizers. It's a very impressive event. So I will start by briefly introducing neXat. We are not as known as some of the big companies that you meet here in the show. So we are a satellite connectivity service provider based in Belgium. The company was founded in 2011 under a different name. Maybe some of you have heard about know us under this previous name, which was SAT ADSL. So the company was founded in 2011, and since the inception, we decided to do our business of providing satellite connectivity in a bit of a different way compared to other service providers. So we decided not to invest into teleports and hubs, but rather work in cooperation and in partnership with teleports and hub operators, but rather focus on the development of a service delivery platform which sits between the hubs and the internet. And this is a service delivery platform which allow us to define and enforce customer service profiles, service packs through traffic shaping and routing. We provide monitoring, management, and a number of value-added services to all the players in the value chain down to the end users, which is unique in the market, in the satellite connectivity market. And last but not least, this also allow us to set up a number of tools for billing and online payments, because at the end of the day, you need to collect payments from your customers, and in some regions, this can be a very challenging task. And so this helps us, of course, to facilitate the business all along the value chain. So since 2011, we started the development of such infrastructure, which today consists in a private cloud and 3 POPs, one in Europe, one in America, and one in Asia. All this development has been performed in partnership with the European Space Agency, so we have run a number of co-funded projects which helped us in the research and development in order to build this infrastructure. So we have recently engaged in upgrading such infrastructure to governmental grade, and as I told you, we rebranded the company in 2022 with this new name from SAT ADSL to neXat. You still find somewhere powered by SAT ADSL, as you can see in the slide. So let's come to the subject, OSS BSS. let's start by introducing a little bit the problem. Europe is currently facing a number of challenges, military, humanitarian crisis, climate change, cybercrime, geopolitical instability. And during those times, you have professionals, military, civil security, health workers, emergency responders, who operate in difficult areas under very dangerous conditions. In order to effectively respond to such situations, these professionals have to rely on space assets to anticipate events, assess the situation, communicate, position themselves in the field, and so on. So they need access to actionable, secured information services. And this is crucial for the efficient prevention and intervention to resolve the crisis or minimize its impact. So this is one of the markets that we address with our communication services. But let's say the key point is that what they need, and I will explain a little bit more about that in the following, is that they need to access these end-to-end information services, which is helping them in running their mission. So what we can state in general terms is that those users, those governmental users, they need complex end-to-end secured services, very important, secured, trusted and secured services, which are composed of different elements where telecommunications, terrestrial or SATCOM, are one of the components. There are other components, Earth observation, IoT, and all those are enablers allowing the provision of such end-to-end information services. So, this is something that you can see, for example, in the military environment. You have real-time situational awareness. This is a critical element of successful performance in the combat environment. But the battlefield, of course, poses a variety of challenges to situational awareness in terms of information overload, the non-integrated data, rapidly changing environment, and high degree of uncertainty. Very similarly, in an emergency response scenario, the practitioners need to coordinate the interventions among different teams, and this needs to be based on information and knowledge of the environment which is around them, with a number of risks and challenges in the deployment and the cooperation of the teams. So, as I was saying before, the answer to those challenges is not in the telecommunication itself, but in these end-to-end integrated end-user applications. And of course, this is, satellite communication is a key component, because in certain environment, you don't have anything else than satellite, especially in case of crisis. And of course, I don't want to underplay the importance of SATCOM in those markets, but what I want to highlight is the fact that the SATCOM is one part of the overall end-to-end service which needs to be provided. So this means that the SATCOM solution in this environment needs to offer to the overall end-to-end application the possibility of orchestrating the services. Service orchestration becomes a very important element, and this service orchestration needs to happen in a secured and trusted environment. So the SATCOM solution needs to integrate into the end-to-end information service, allowing machine-to-machine service orchestration, which includes provisioning, activation, monitoring, control decommissioning of the service. So this means that the telecommunication service cannot be provided anymore as a standalone services, but needs to be integrated into an overreaching information services that will be orchestrated through machine-to-machine secured interfaces by the orchestration engine of the end-to-end service. So this raises a number of issues in terms of security, interoperability, standardization, of course. So there are a number of there is a lot of work which is ongoing in this area, and which bring us as satellite service providers to get in touch with the number of players in the field of cybersecurity, in the field of standardization of interfaces, and even in artificial intelligence. I was following with a lot of interest the presentation just before my speech, because of the possible implications that this can have on our business. So maybe 2 words just to explain, because it might not be known to everybody what we mean with the OSS, BSS word. So OSS, BSS stands for Operational Support System, Business Support System, and it's basically all the, it's a naming which comes from the telecommunication market. So not everybody in the satellite communication or in the satellite business in general knows about that, but it's basically all those systems which allow to the network operator to operate the network and the business. So that's why OSS, Operational Support, BSS, Business Support, to run this the network and to provide the service both from an operational and business point of view to the user. So in particular in the governmental service environment, SATCOM need to include such secured OSS BSS in order to allow this end-to-end integration into the overall information service that needs to be provided to the end user. And those integration is generally achieved through through APIs which are established between the different components, the overall orchestration system and the SATCOM component that we provide. What we are this OSS BSS is an essential component in order to achieve interoperability and overall service orchestration for the user. What I am describing becomes can be applied, of course, to classical geo-based services, but applies also to the LEO environment, where the standalone service and vertical integration that we see implemented by the big elephant in the room that everybody knows about. It's something that can be, it's an approach which works for the consumer market, but does not work for these governmental markets where trust, security, and integration of the services is key. And this becomes even more critical if we introduce the concept of sovereignty into our concerns. So the in the field, the possibility of having redundant connections, bonded connections, where the user or the overreaching application can have full control on the priority usage of each connectivity link is essential. And for this, as I was saying, this OSS BSS component of the SATCOM system is still even more essential to be realized. So this means that we more and more need to ensure that the security and trusted environment that we normally consider for the telecommunication services is implemented and includes also all the networking part that we provide and this OSS BSS component, which is key to the provision of those end-to-end services for governmental markets, which are at the moment one of the key markets that the whole satellite communication sector is looking at. I think this concludes my presentation, and of course I am happy to answer to any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fulvio. You can bring your microphone and sit on the blue sofa. Please do not hesitate to raise your questions, and the application connects me. I see there are still, though almost lunchtime, there are still many people connected, even online. So we are looking forward to your questions. In the meantime, I will be asking mine. You just said that tools were liking to invest in the governmental market. That is the big market to invest. What are the drivers you would say are liking? And if standardization, from who shall it come from?
You mean the driver in order to invest into the governmental sector? Yeah, it's mainly due to I would say, the competitive environment in which we are at the moment, with the advent of the American-based LEO system that we all know. There is a lot of consumer market which is going into the direction of Starlink. We can mention the name. So all the players, all the European players, especially in the field, are looking at alternatives. And of course, we try to exploit, because they have achieved the US-based system, they have achieved a level of performance which are, of course, very interesting and very appealing for the consumer market. But of course, we are looking at the aspects which are not covered, which is all what is related with security, trust, sovereignty. And so we try to position ourselves, and this is a general trend in the market. We try to position ourselves to be able to provide those value-added services to the users, and of course to users who appreciate those points. And this is in particular all the governmental users, not necessarily only military. You have plenty of application in civil protection, in areas which where the security and the trust is very, very important, and where we have still an advantage on American competitors.
Mm-hmm. And we were talking earlier about how difficult it can be to convince actors that are not on the field, and we come back to policymakers and European ones who have to set standards. Are you facing this raising awareness issues, maybe?
In Europe, there is a very strong trend lately. due to several components, the American competition on one end, but also the conflicts that we have that started recently. So there is a very strong attention to this aspect of sovereignty and governmental users who have to rely on trusted providers. So it's something which is there is much more attention than a few years ago, and this is translated into basically two main initiatives from the European Commission: GovSatcom, that many heard about, and IRIS², of course. I mean, we face the usual problems that we have in Europe when those big programs are launched. Similar problems happened with Galileo, but they have gone through it, and now the system is working at the flying.
What are these problems?
I'm not maybe the best placed, because I'm not working in the institutions, but I mean...
They're not there yet.
Yeah, but you can see that it's slow to take up. There is a problem of funding, co-funding from private players, so there are plenty of... But at the end of the day, those problems have been solved for Galileo. It will be solved for IRIS² and GovSatcom. I'm very confident that they will find the way to move forward. From our point of view, from the point of view of an SME, because we are a small company providing services, the important thing is to ensure that those systems, those big systems, take into account from inception, from the start, the need of the end users. And this is where, and that they take into account the value chain as well. Because in Europe, there are a number of service providers, can be national service provider or regional service provider, very often SMEs, who provide value added into this market, and they represent what in European wording you would define a vibrant ecosystem. It's a very nice word, but it's true. And it's value added, is economical value for Europe, and it's important that we keep these actors in the value chain. We keep them in a position to continue offer their value to their customers. So the systems that we design needs to take into account the needs of the end users, but also this value chain from inception, so that the resulting systems still allow this value chain to provide those services and to be of use for the customers and provide the economical financial return. They are in the innovation also that they bring for Europe. So it's and of course the security, cyber security sector is part of it. It's very, we are not, but we see a lot of potential of cooperation with the cyber security sector in provisioning those secure and trusted services to the governmental users.
Yeah, the issue of making it an integrated market. We have a question from Alessandra De Angelis, who is, I must say, a valuable contributor to the questions raised from the audience. She says, you explained that the telecommunication component will be provided in an integrated manner. Will there still be a strong reliance on the space-ground communication? Can you explain further what this change in paradigm potentially brings?
Yeah, of course, as far as there is a need for satellite-based communications, if you have to just make an example, there is an earthquake, and you have to bring practitioners to help locally, and all the infrastructure are destroyed, you will have to use SATCOM. The difference, what is happening, what we see in the market, is that the practitioners, they do not want anymore to be expert in SATCOM. They don't want to be anymore dealing with, okay, I need to set up the communication, I need to do a number of things. They want an end-to-end information service available on the field, which provides them images, communication, hyperspectral data, things that I only know the names, but I don't even know what exactly means. But there are a number, we are working in a number of projects where the objective is to bring those kind of services to the practitioners. So the SATCOM component becomes one of the components of this overall system. And we need to integrate this SATCOM component into the overall system. The user will access a portal and describe the mission through this portal. And by clicking on submit, all the components which are necessary to provide him with the service which is needed for that mission will have to be provided by the different actors which are part of the value chain. So this is a completely change of approach for the SATCOM providers. The SATCOM provider needs to be integrated into a value chain where we are not the central point. We are one of the enablers in order to provide this end-to-end service to the user. That's basically the concept. So of course, ground space communication will still be there, because if you use satellite communication, there will be ground space communication, but it's not anymore, let's say, a silo approach. It's an integrated approach where we are part of an overall value chain of an end-to-end information system which is offered to the user.
Addressing this change of approaches when you are a new player on the market requires a lot of agility. How do you deal with this?
We are not a new player because we are here since 10 years, but you need a lot of agility in any case, because it's a very dynamic market, changing all the time. So you need to be agile. We are a small company, so that's what I meant. Yeah, in this respect is a big advantage. Of course, we have some disadvantages because we don't have the means of the larger companies. We have, in a way, let's say, matched a little bit the two, because we operate through distributors. So all the channel is outsourced. And those are more than 100 distributors worldwide. So we are a small company because we have kept the core of the company, research and development, the high-level commercial functions, administrations. This is, let's say, the core of the company, but all the channel is achieved through those external players. So we try to, let's say, get the benefits of both. On the one hand, to be small and agile in order to react fast, but at the same time, the channel is important. So more than 100 distributors worldwide is an asset that we have, although it's not owned by ourselves. It's external companies. They work independently. And of course, we have no exclusivity. It's an open market. So, but it's a way to achieve critical mass by outsourcing part of the activity somehow.
Well, achieving critical mass, but another achievement is the presentation you just delivered and the way you navigated through the questions from the audience and mine. Thank you very much, Mr. Sansone. Here again, however you think neXat, big or small, it is a valuable sponsor of our event. So thank you. I will leave the floor, and so will you, because this is finally time for a lunch break. We will be back at 1:30.
Thank you, everybody.